Okay, welcome guys. We are on week 9. We're going to do the Akashic records today. I'm super excited. This is one of my faves. So for anybody that's watching that's not here live, all you have to do is go to the divination website, go to week 9 Akashic records and print out the handouts to use along with today. They will be there. But how we're going to start today is with a reader activation. Now, I used to play music so that you guys could hear it through my speakers, but I don't know what they did with like this noise canceling technology. I can't play music through the speakers anymore and you don't hear it. So
we'll
technology is awesome and also kind of annoying. If you guys need music though, to kind of get yourself into that state, go ahead and play it on your own. I would recommend, if you want to go to YouTube, you can actually just type in 432 hertz music, meditation music, and it'll pull up a lot of really great tracks. And that is a great frequency for healing and this type of stuff. So. And you guys can just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
Ready.
I don't have mine printed out. I'm just going to wing it.
Okay, that's totally fine too. I will put it on the screen so you can, I mean, you might want to print it out for like when you continue or want to finish this later, but for now you should be fine just following along on the screen.
Okay, great.
I'm ready too.
Okay, awesome. Oh, I keep like pulling my hair. All right, is anybody still need some time? Okay. All right, so what the reader activation is it's just going to kind of show you how to get back to the Akashic records so that you can kind of do this if you want on your own next time. You can always come back to the YouTube page and like listen to this part of the class too if you want to be guided through it. Sometimes it's easier to be guided. But if you're interested, you can always take yourself back once you've been there.
Great.
Okay, so we're going to be raising your vibration so you can get high enough to get there. So if you do struggle is there anybody in here who struggles to kind of get into a relaxed state? Okay. All right, so I might, let me just talk through this real quick, just in case anybody watching the video later on does. So if anybody does struggle kind of getting into a relaxed state, what I would like you to do while you're watching this video, I'm going to give you directions, then you're going to pause it and you're going to do this, and then you can push play and continue with the meditation. But what I want to do is show you how to anchor some safety, some feelings of safety in your body. So what you're going to do is start by just taking some deep breaths, and you're just going to try to kind of, a lot of times our awareness is all up here, right? So what we want to do is drop down to our heart here. So you can do that by kind of focusing on your breath. So you're going to take some deep breaths in, letting your belly fully expand, okay? In through the nose, because we want to get oxygen to the brain. And then out through your mouth, nice and slow. Like I always picture there's like a feather I'm holding right here, and I'm blowing out so slow that the feather is barely moving. And that'll be a really good way at getting your body calm. So once you get your body calm and you start to feel settled, I want you to put a hand on your heart and a hand on your chest, okay? And bring up a memory. It could be of a person, a place, an event, somewhere where you felt completely safe, completely happy, and there can't be anything negative attached to this. If you don't have a memory or something like that you can bring up, you can completely build your own. I build my own. I go to a little cabin that I created in the woods. But what you're going to do, this is going to be your safety anchor, right? So anytime you are going into any type of meditation or on your own, you could just take 3 minutes a day with your hands on your belly and your heart and go back to this place and, make it exactly how you want it. Try to visualize everything there, how you felt, what the smells were like, all of it. And then when you feel super, super safe, I want you to turn up that feeling of safety, that feeling of love, that feeling of happiness. And you're going to turn it up like the knob on a stereo and make it as intense as you possibly can. And when you're at that point where it is the most intense you're going to get it, start tapping on your chest. And then what you'll be able to do is you're kind of going to let that wash away. You're going to turn it back up again. You're going to tap on your chest. So you're going to do this 2 to 3 times if you need to anchor safety in before a meditation or anytime you're meditating. And what this is going to do is create almost a safety button on your chest. So if at any time during this practice or any practice you start to feel overwhelmed, you're just going to tap on your chest, on your safety button, and all of these safe, happy feelings are going to come flooding your body. The more we practice, the more it will happen. Maybe just, adding an affirmation. I am safe. I feel safe. Okay, and now we're going to just get nice and comfortable, whether sitting or lying down, whatever feels good for you. Just taking those nice deep breaths, almost like feeling like you're breathing into your lower back, if that makes sense. Unclenching your muscles and your jaw. Just allowing yourself to feel more and more relaxed. Allowing your body to be held by the chair that you're sitting on. Sinking right in. Feeling more and more relaxed. Relaxing your left foot, your right foot. Relaxing your left leg, your right leg. Moving up to the torso. And if you're struggling getting any of these areas to relax, sometimes just speaking to the body, really breathing into that body part, telling it, relax now, it's time to relax. You are relaxed. Relaxing your diaphragm and your arms. Just making sure they're nice and relaxed. Being sure to relax your forehead and your jaw. And I just want you to imagine now, there's this gold light that is surrounding your entire body. It's protecting you energetically, and it's cleansing you. I want you to imagine a small globe of light right above your crown chakra. Any color is fine. And imagine this light is coming in through your crown chakra, in through the top of your head, lighting up all of the pathways and meridian lines in your body, all the way down your head, your third eye, your throat chakra, your heart, I want you to imagine this melting away anything in your heart that does not belong there. I want you to imagine now that there's a pathway just being laid out from your heart through right through the center of your heart, and it's kind of projecting right in front of your body. And just watching it float, and you're following this light. And you're just going to keep going on this path until you see an elevator or a staircase. Whichever one you see is perfect. You're getting closer and closer to it now. And as you enter this elevator or staircase, I want you to look up and see how high you need to go to get to the 8th floor, the 8th dimension. And now we're going to start to go up now. So we're going up. We're on the 3rd dimension now. So we're going to start to go up, raising to the 4th. Now up to the 5th, 6th, 7th, and now at the 8th dimension. Now, when you get to the 8th floor, I want you to step out. And you start to see all of these threads crossing over each other. And it's like, they're almost like transparent lines, like almost like cobwebs or mandalas, right? And then you start to see come into view a huge library, the biggest library you have ever seen in your life. Just looking around and being curious. And if you're not seeing any of this, that's completely fine. I want you to tap into your other senses. What do you feel? What do you sense? What do you hear? What do you smell? Now, as you're kind of just being curious and looking around, I'm just going to ask that everybody's Akashic Records guide, please step forward into your person's energy now. So just being aware of what you're sensing here. Sometimes this is very subtle, like just very subtle shifts. Maybe you'll feel chills or like a tingle on your leg or the back of your neck. Just being open to whatever you're sensing. So just ask your guide now to introduce themselves and thank them for being here. And when you're finished, just ask your guide to take you to your record. And as you say that, you notice there is a thread, one of those threads, or there is a book that is glowing. It's so bright that you know you are connected to this record. Your guide is now helping you connect to this energy. It's just being in that receptive state, not trying too hard. And as you are connecting to your record now, just wants you to allow any information to come through that is needed for you. Be really aware now of what you see, sense, smell, hear. Sometimes what will happen is we'll start to get a download around this time. And our guides are helping us get that information so that we can read these records. So I'm just going to give you a minute so that you can kind of get all in tune and in alignment with the records. And if you're somebody who might be struggling with trying to figure out your path, this would be a great time to ask for advice. The Akashic Records has all of the information, just everything. So ask your guide now for some help if you need. Or just look through your own records for the advice that you need. And if you're feeling finished, just taking the time to thank your guide for all of the info and the downloads you have received today that will help you read the records. Thank them for activating this part of you. And remember, you can always come back here anytime you want to. It's just taking a minute to give that gratitude. And when you're ready, just begin walking back to the steps or the elevator. Getting back in. Coming all the way back down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3. Stepping out at level 3. Coming back across the pathway. back into your heart space. Letting your consciousness come back up into your body. Letting that gold light go back up into that sphere above your head, like reverse melting. Getting all sucked back up into that sphere. Just starting to notice your body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. And blinking your eyes open when you're ready. So how was that for everyone?
It was exciting.
Awesome. Awesome.
I tried to take my book with me and they wouldn't let me.
Did anybody see anything that showed up in the records? Hi, Anna.
Hi guys. Sorry, I had to pop in late.
You're
I was
fine.
in class at work too.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries. Did anybody see anything written on their book?
Well, for me, I guess maybe because I came in late. I came in when you guys were seeing the elevator.
Okay.
So I didn't get the first part of the meditation. So I was able to see, well, I had steps. So I was able to go up the steps and see the book, but I wasn't, I guess, meditation is so hard for me. So
You
I'll
did
try
it
again.
though. You
I
did
just
it
couldn't get
though.
anything from the book. I found the book, but I couldn't like open it or anything.
That's a
And
massive
yes,
win for you.
they don't let you take the book with you.
They definitely
Try
do.
that too. I was like, I got it. I got it. I just can't open it here. Maybe if I take it home with me. No, sorry, we don't let the books.
It's so funny that so many people tried. I tried.
We all probably, a lot of us hard-headed ones tried that the first time, I'm sure. So at least I was excited because even though without the meditation, I was able to get to the level that you guys were at. So that was kind of cool, especially for me, because
a massive win. Yes. You
yeah,
should celebrate
my
that.
meditation is really hard. Even in private session, I think we've only gotten about 4 or 5 minutes in so far.
That's okay. This is amazing. Celebrate the wins. Nice job.
I never found my book.
Okay.
But I saw the threads. And then I had a vision, which was weird. But so it just told me that I'm right now where I need to be. Because I asked, my guide told me her name and I could see what she was wearing. And then I asked her for advice about like a business venture type of thing.
Yeah.
And then she said, you're not ready. And then I got a vision of me like saving a child in a snowstorm with a vehicle driving by. And it's weird because I work in child protection. So I'm a social worker in child protection. So I guess that means I need to just keep saving children for now.
Wow. That is so powerful. How do you feel?
Good. I feel good because I know, that's always been like a career for me. I've always loved children and I've been doing this job for almost 10 years now. So,
yeah,
but it can suck the life out of you. So,
yeah, I'm sure it can.
But it was weird. It was like this big old monster truck in a snowstorm and this child was like on the side and I was in the truck and I like scooped up the child as I drove by. It was weird.
That is so cool though. You're like this social worker Superman.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, that's what I saw. And then my guide like walked down one flight of stairs with me, but I asked her to keep coming with me, but she wouldn't. So she's like went back. So
yeah, it's hard for them to like completely come down to our level because they vibe so high, right? So a lot of times we raise and they lower, but I don't know how far down they can actually come, to be honest, but not on our level.
yeah, and usually I don't get names with my guides. I usually can see what they're wearing, and I have to name them Like I have one named Pink Shorts because that's what he wears.
I
I
love
don't know.
that.
So, but this one, she actually told me her name was Rose. So
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
I don't know. That was a whole experience.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Yay. Anybody
Well,
else?
don't be discouraged. We need lots more great caseworkers in America because we have a lot of crappy ones.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, we do.
And I know it's really hard to sometimes always keep the child's best interests at heart, but I'm sure that you do that. I'm sure that's part of what your guide was telling you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So who else wants to share what they got?
I will.
Okay.
Mine was intense, like super intense. My guide was a dragon with fairy wings. That's
Ooh.
totally new for me. But it really fit, like as with I saw stairs and they were very like cobblestone, like up a tower, like it all very much flowed
So
together.
cool. Yeah.
That it was now my kids are home and so I'm like multitasking on many levels during this.
I know.
You
It's
saw my little
impressive
guy
that you
come
got.
in and hand me
I was like
chips, and I
waving
was
at
like,
your son.
no, I'm backing. I felt him wave at you and I was like, I have to back out now. Like, but before all that,
He's like all like this behind your head.
yeah, I could feel like yeah. Me? Who? Me? Go play. But that like I didn't see any books. It wasn't any books. It was dark, a very faint string, but super intense. Like my third eye, I have never felt it hum so hard in my life. Like I have never felt that humming so hard. Like my face was radiating with the like I don't even know how to describe it. And as that was going on, it was just like rings of light lighting up like from my third eye out as I was holding my guide's hand. It was super, super intense. And then coming out, like our hands weren't unhooking from each other. Like I was coming down and my guide was still kind of holding my hand down like 3 flights of stairs, but not coming with me, just holding my hand like a Stretch
Wow.
Armstrong. Like
That is so cool.
so, it was, I was like, I wasn't Stretch Armstrong, but my guide was, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go with it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Stop. And now he's showing off. And so like 3 levels down, and then it slowly broke and came back, but like I'm still warm. Like
Yeah.
that was the most intense I've ever felt my third eye.
Do you feel like that was like a download? Because I'll get like really buzzy right here when I feel like I'm getting a download.
Like super, super, like a download of I need to, okay, you're done. I know, go.
Sorry, I was like totally egging them on.
Enough now, please. Don't make me ask you again, please. Thank you.
The mom voice.
Kind of, it changes.
I was like, that was scary.
Kind of like a download of like, this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is more what I'm supposed to be using and expanding, and like on the right path of like what we talked about at the end when we ended the Zoom together a few weeks ago of just like, this is my path, and have I thought about this as like maybe a profession. And on top of that, today I was like looking at transits from my birth, like natal chart, and the transits that are happening now, and like Neptune being in Pisces and my sun is in Pisces. And so I looked up when Neptune and my Pisces lined up, and I wrote it down. It was February 24th through the 25th of 20 2021. And
Okay.
that's really when I was like, I'm diving back in for myself of all this that I know is in me. So like
Yes.
that happening earlier today, then this with the third eye, like I just feel like it all kind of lined up today. So it was
That's
super
amazing.
intense.
So amazing. Yay.
So
Who else? Don't feel like you have to if you don't want to. Okay. So feel free to interrupt me if you change your mind and you want to share anything. I did jump the gun a little bit. I should have went through what the Akashic records were first. I thought about when we already started the meditation. So let's go over that real quick. I'm going to share my screen. Okay.
Maybe this happened because I was late, because was my big question, remember?
Okay. Yes, that actually makes sense. I like that. Perfect. Okay. So what are the Akashic records? It is an inner web of all of our timelines or all of our books of life. It's the past, the present, the future. It's every possibility we have, every thought that we've like, so let's say I might not be a good example because I feel like I like follow too many paths, but like, let's say, Kim, you'd be a great example because you're doing one job now and you're thinking about changing jobs, right? So as soon as you had that thought, you created another timeline. So we can go up to the Akashic records to access all of these timelines, the past, the future, the present, any life. Does that make sense? Okay. It's kind of like the universe is Google. So some believe this is where we can go, or this is where we go when we cross over for our life review. I've heard a couple different people say this, like, so souls, when they cross over, will say, I go into this like white room, or I go into this, room with all these books, and they go in, they go over their life review. Like, this is what I meant to do. This is what I actually did. Like, maybe I'll have to come back to, do something I didn't get to do, or get a lesson I didn't learn. So we can access all of that information here. So we can also see what's in the way of us manifesting our goals and how we can be more in alignment to reach them. Subconscious programming is not something we can always see, but we will be able to see it while we're in the records, while we're at that higher perspective. So how do we access the records? You just did, because I jumped the gun. So the activation meditation. And then what we're going to do, I want to create an easier way for you guys to be able to do this. So somebody showed me how to do this with a pendulum, and it was like mind blown. It got so much easier. You don't have to doubt yourself or anything like that. There are lots of different ways to access the records, but this is just like a really good one for beginning. So a lot of people will usually go into a meditative or trance state to access the records. But as a beginner, this will be much easier, and it'll help us kind of open up our abilities. So this way of reading will help us release blocks from past lives or our past so that we can move forward. We must always ask permission to access another person's records. So that if you ever decide to do this for somebody else, just make sure you're asking their soul permission. So the other thing maybe you can do too, because we're going to ask for your intention, because this is like a psychic development class. I just put, I want to develop my psychic abilities, and then we can kind of see what is in our way of that. Or I want to be a medium, or I want to be a psychic medium, or whatever you want to do spiritually that you feel like you are completely blocked or unable to move forward doing. You can also use this technique too for manifesting career goals, relationship goals, anything that you want, you can use this same process. So does anybody have any questions about what the Akashic records are? Okay. So let me share this screen again. I put that worksheet somewhere I wouldn't lose it, and I lost it. Okay. Okay, can everybody see this worksheet on the screen? Oh, Tammy, I am so sorry. I'm just seeing your message here. So Tammy says, I had rapid eye movement like I've never had, then tingling on the left side of the head. When you said download, I saw gold and blue halo type circles over and over. I've never done this or even tried. Is this something that can happen? My kids kept interrupting. Yeah, so it absolutely sounds like you connected. Carrie said, I feel you with the kids interrupting. Gold and blue types of circles. Okay, so I might look into, I don't know what like gods or goddesses or pantheons that you work with, but I feel like they all kind of have specific colors. So you might want to like look into what they mean, because that might be a message for kind of who's there, who's helping you. Gold and blue are also, look, we use the gold light for protection, and blue is also very healing too. So it could also be that, or just ask yourself too, if we have any personal, like, I guess connections is the right word to a color. Like for me, every time I see purple, I think of Reiki. So I think of healing. So if either of those colors mean anything specifically to you, that could be part of your message too. Did I answer your question? Okay, Tammy?
Yes.
Or do you have any? Okay, sweet. Okay. Make this bigger. All right, so the Akashic Records reading sheet. So on this front page here, obviously we're just going to write your name on under reader name. I just put self when I'm reading for myself, date of birth, just because it's good. I just always like to put all of my information so that everybody is aware of which person is connecting. So to get your soul permission, we're going to use the pendulum. But before we do that, where did I just put mine? Oh, here we go. Before we do that, we just need to make sure they're properly programmed. So if anybody is already working with a pendulum, then that's fine. You don't have to do that. But if this is new for anyone, I always start off by just checking in and making sure I'm properly programmed or whatever. So how I'll do that is just kind of like tune in. I always try to center, because, you know, with pendulums, with really any type of divination, we have the power to change the outcome in any of these things. So we really have to be in a space where we are not expecting a certain answer. Like we have to get completely blank, if that makes sense. So I go from my head to my heart. I just try to release any energy or expectations. And I say, show me a yes. Sometimes I'll even look away because I'm afraid I'm going to influence it. Show me a yes. And then when you feel confident in that, you'll say, show me a no. When you're confident with that, then you can just ask your pendulum, do I have my soul's permission to access my records? And obviously, if you're doing it for somebody else, you're going to ask if you have their soul's permission. So when we're manifesting anything, the power of writing it down is probably one of the most important steps. I'm not going to say the most important, but it's definitely one of the most important steps. So this is why we're going to specifically write this down. Your manifestation goal is whatever you decide you're doing, related to psychic abilities. That's what we'll do in this class. Like I said, you can do it for anything else afterwards. So I'll put connect more clearly to spirit. So I would write then my intention is to manifest clear spirit communication.
There you go.
And then for the time frame, just make sure it's something that's doable, because you don't want to discourage yourself by saying, I want to be a top psychic in the next 6 months, because that's going to be very hard to
No.
accomplish. We want to keep it like more realistic.
So should we all be working on the same goal? Just for
You don't have to
this
be.
class?
Yeah, no, you don't have to be. I mean, it can be anything like, so some people might not want to work on mediumship and some people might. Some people might just want to work psychically, and that's fine. So you're just going to write what it is exactly that you're wanting to develop. Maybe you just
Okay.
want to, work on your clairvoyance or clairaudience. Does that make sense?
Or how about our blocks?
We're going to get there. So
Okay.
first we have to get the goal, and then we're going to see what's blocking that.
Okay, great, thanks.
No problem. So does everybody have their intentions clearly written out? Okay. So a current alignment to goal. So we want to figure out like what in our energy is blocking us. So we're going to go through all these different energies. So current alignment to my goal. Let me think about this for a second. I haven't done this since the last time we did this in class. Okay. So is physically, am I more than 50% aligned to my goal? And then you're going to get that. So it says yes. So am I 80% aligned with my goal, 80 or above? Am I 90% aligned to my goal? Am I 92% aligned to my goal? Am I 98% aligned to my goal? That's where it changed, 98%. And you're going to go through all of those. So mentally, how aligned am I to my goal? Am I 50%? Just going through all that. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. You know what's really cool too? When you come back and do this in a couple months and you start to see your shifts on paper, it's like very satisfying.
And you guys may not know this, but you don't have to have like a fancy pendulum. It can be anything that has weight and a string.
Yeah.
Because I use a necklace because I don't have an actual pendulum.
You know, back in the day, like when women would be burned for being witches, they would use their wedding ring and a strand of hair. They'd literally pluck a strand of hair from their head, put their ring on it, and that would be the pendulum. I always thought that was pretty cool.
It reminds me of the old like wives' tale where when you're pregnant and you took the man's wedding ring and you held it over the belly and it's supposed to tell you if it's a boy or a girl.
That's so funny. I forgot all about that. Yes, I remember when I was pregnant, people wanting to do that to me all the time. And I was like, what?
It works.
Yeah.
It does. It's crazy.
It worked with all my children.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, we found out in Coffee Club this week that witches used to hand each other an acorn, kind of like Christians used to draw a fish on the ground.
No way.
Paul told us that.
That's really cool.
That's why you'll see an acorn sometimes on the step or acorn design in like their
No
entryway or
way.
their exit.
That
The
is
older
so
witches.
cool.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
I thought
that really
Something
is.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I've never heard that. That's awesome.
And then what does
Right.
what does it symbolize? The acorn?
It was just a way for them to discreetly let another person know that they were a practitioner
Oh, okay.
back when we were being persecuted. And then
Mhm.
he did go off into like, hey, be careful, because him and his family had to move
No way.
because his neighbors found out and a church nearby found out. And so they had people literally coming to their house.
Is that in
Like-
is that in Colorado?
I don't know. Paul lives in Tennessee.
Wow.
So
Something
yeah.
happened in Colorado like that too, right?
Yeah. So just be careful. Like, I'm not saying don't be who you are, but just be careful. Just be aware of your neighbors and stuff.
Didn't he call those acorn bells? Isn't that how it started out, that he had acorn bells?
Yeah, it was something to do with something he had, some small decoration that he had on his front door or on his back stoop that someone recognized as a witch's symbol.
That's
And
really-
it volcanoed into,
Yeah,
they
I would,
literally had to move. I couldn't remember exactly. That was right with the acorn. You're right, Susan. I couldn't remember what he said about that, but yes,
He
she's
called
definitely
them-
right.
acorn bells or something, and that's how it started, I think.
That's awful. It's crazy that that stuff is still happening. To me, anyway. It's
It
crazy.
is.
Yeah.
But I just want us all to be careful so we don't have to, like, I'm pretty careful about being real open to my neighbors because I don't know if you guys can see this, but they live right there.
Oh my gosh. That is
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, it's very close. It's the only thing I don't like about this house. I have a half acre on the other side,
A what?
a half acre of land
Oh,
on the
that's
other side of my house, but this side I have about 12 to 20 feet, depending on which part of the house it is.
Yeah, right.
So
If my neighbors don't know, then they don't know what the heck's going on in this world. That's all I'm saying. I've been here for so stinking long that when they move in, I think they know.
I have
the
no
moon
neighbor.
water definitely gives it away a little, I think.
Well, the moon water and the smoke cauldrons outside and the protection around, and then when I'm really doing like a big cleansing of all my crystals and like the whole front yard is covered and I'm
I
like
love
going out
that.
and coming in and going out and coming in. And my husband's like, oh my God, like, I'm like, don't step in my salt circle. Thank you. Can you not? Thanks. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm using the back door. I'm like, don't brush the black salt. He's like, I know. Anything with your black salt and your cinnamon. Like, I
That
don't
is
touch
so
your
funny.
tools.
That's really funny. All right, so change notes, we're gonna leave blank for now. We can come back and write that after we kind of get into this. So the first thing we want to ask is, let me just find my notes. Okay. The first thing we want to ask is there any internal blocks to manifesting my goal? So is there any internal blocks to manifesting my goal? Is there any internal? And then you're going to ask, are there any external blocks to manifesting my goal? So when you guys are done, let me know who had internal or external or both.
Interesting enough, there is internal for me, but not external.
I always get internal and not external too. It's so annoying.
I'm like, really? I'm like laughing at my pendulum. Like, I'm laughing at it. It's kind of a sassy, like this one's super sassy. And so I was like, I'm gonna grab my sassiest one because it tends to not be influenced by me as much as like my moonstone one kind of just wants to like make me happy, whereas this one's like like related to tarot cards or something. Like it should
Right.
have been a tarot card, but it came out as a pendulum. Like,
Oh yeah, I have a couple decks that I can't use because they're just mean.
yeah, so this one's like sassy. I'm like, we're gonna pull the sassy one.
I like it. I like it.
I had external, but not internal.
Awesome. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, me too.
Good for you. The external
Me
ones
too.
are easier to clear. Who said me too?
Me.
Oh,
Kim.
awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
I got no blockages of either.
Nice. Oh my gosh, Susan, amazing. I want to give you high fives right now, right through the screen. Amazing, amazing. And Susan, what did you write for your goal?
I wanted to become more psychic.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. That's amazing. So there's literally nothing in your way. If you
Yeah.
want, so that you can follow along, if you wanted like, change that at all so that you can like do the thing. Because if you don't have any blocks, you're not going to have to do anything else. So I don't know, maybe try something like, is there anything psychically that you want to work on, like specifically, like clairvoyance or, a specific skill set? If you want, you also don't have to.
And Danielle, Kim said it is saying that she has both internal and external, and the internal seems a lot stronger, so larger. She's
Okay.
presuming larger, is that right?
If that's what you feel, then yes. Okay. So all of this stuff is very intuitive. There's not these like very set rules. It's going to be what you feel. This is your relationship with your pendulum. So you could ask your pendulum, is it true that the bigger you spin, the more strong the yes or no, and see what that says. I'm kind of curious what that will say for you. I just pulled up the chat. I'm so sorry. I keep missing it. Thank you, Hannah.
No, it's okay. It's hard for all of the teachers
Okay.
to switch back and forth. So I try to help out when I'm in too. And if anybody wants any school links, I can post those too.
Oh, thank you so much. He is so
So
cute.
it's easier. So it's, yeah, it's saying it is a stronger,
Okay.
certainly for that question. I don't know about as a whole, but certainly for that
So
question.
you can always make that an intention too. So you can always say, all right, so now that we have this kind of established, this is what I want every time I use a pendulum. The bigger the circle, the bigger the yes or no. And you set that. And then you just be confident in that's how you do it. That's how you work.
Great, thank you.
You are so welcome. Okay. So let's work. So anybody who has internal, okay, we're going to go there first. But if you don't have internal and you only have external, then you can just kind of do this along with us with your external. So we're going to go down to this sheet here, the energies chart. Hannah, this is going to be familiar.
I recognize this.
So what we're going to do is ask
And
our pendulum.
Just for the record, I'm just following along with you guys. I'm not actually doing all the activities. I like to watch the class and then I like to go do it kind of by myself.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, so then we're going to ask okay, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Hang on. So going back to this one, internal blocks, we're going to say, do we have a mindset block? Is there a mindset block to me achieving my goal? Is there a trauma block? Is there an emotion block all the way down? And you're just going to make a little check mark next to the ones that you have blocks. Okay, so just let me know when you guys are ready with that. If you want, if you have both, if you have internal and external, you can go right down to the external and go through that list and see where your blocks are there.
Maybe I should have asked it why I can't ever find my tarot cards when I buy them.
Do they disappear every time you buy them?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Do you live with anybody else?
Nope.
Wow. I want to get to the bottom of that.
I think it's fairies. I have a fairy ring outside my door.
Yeah, I hear they're tricksy.
Yep.
That's so funny. I wonder what they have against your tarot cards.
I don't know.
I don't know,
I'll
but Mystic uses her pendulum all the time to find lost things whenever she loses them.
Yeah, true.
I mean-
you can do that.
They don't take the pendulums, but the tarot cards.
That is really interesting.
And so I've never actually learned how to use them because they disappear on me.
That's so funny. Well, I would definitely try to use the pendulum to find them. Or is there any way that you, I mean, I don't know much about fairies, so I don't want to like say the wrong thing, but it sounds like you do. So is there any way you can communicate with them or how does that work?
I just have let it go. I mean,
Yeah.
one time I lost my keys for like ever.
Oh my gosh.
And then my mineral book went missing. I had bought a new mineral book and that went missing like for months.
That is hilarious. And it just pops back up.
And yeah, and then that just appeared. It was like that was gone for almost a year.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny.
And I mean, it was just strange. And I don't look for it because it's like, if they need it, then okay, you can have it. I don't really go and seek this stuff out.
Right, right. Oh, you're so
Do you
sweet. I love
do
that.
you ever ask them to trade? Like put little
Yeah,
gifts or
sometimes I have done that,
treats
and then
out for them?
things do appear then. But
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Amazing.
sometimes when I've done that, things do not appear, and it's like, okay, then I'm just going to let it go because, there's a reason. So the most recent thing that happened is
That's cool.
It's
really,
so cool.
we had that really bad cold weather here at Christmas time, and I didn't realize it, but I had a problem with one of my pipe. Well, I did know I had a problem with a pipe, but I didn't know it had affected my water. And one day I went to get water out of my um Yeti, or to fill up my Yeti tumbler, and when I filled it up, it filled up with soapy water, and I had just been drinking out of it, and had emptied it.
What?
But
That's so crazy.
yeah, and it filled up with soapy water when I refilled it. And I'm like, how is this possible? I just drained it from drinking
That
it.
is so cool. I mean, did you take a sip of it? That wouldn't be cool.
No,
The fact that it happened.
I mean, it came out of the spigot and was full of soapy water. And I'm like, how is this possible? So I poured it out, and I'm like, soapy water did not come out of my spigot. So I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I refilled it out. I, cleaned the cup, and I went back. I filled it up, and I came back in the living room, and I sat down, and I realized the water was full of little black flecks. And I thought, is the rubber around the cup disintegrating, the top of the cup?
Yeah.
So I started looking at that, and I'm all upset because I'd had this for quite a few years. So I started cleaning that, and I'm trying to figure this all out. So after a day of fiddling with this, I realized there was something wrong with the water. And there was obviously something going on with the pipe. So I ordered a Brita filter, a pitcher with a filter.
Yeah.
And yes, there's something wrong with the pipe. I don't think there's a break in the pipe, but there's something getting into the pipe. Either,
Wow.
something from the pipe freezing, and there's, something happened to the pipe. So I'm filtering the water, and now it's absolutely pure, but
That's good. Yeah.
they warned me.
Who?
I mean, the fairies somehow,
You got the pipe. Wow, because I see what you're
because
saying.
they-
That's
yeah, yeah. I mean, soap did not come out of the pipe.
right. That's amazing. Wow. Oh my God, I love that so much. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's no other explanation because there was,
Danielle, did you say very cool?
Very cool.
it was just so bizarre.
Very cool.
I mean, I had just emptied I drank most of the water out of that tumbler, but there was a little bit left. And then when I went to fill it back up, it was all soap.
Wow.
It was,
That's
there was,
amazing.
it was just too strange. I can't explain this, but
Everything happens for a reason. I am 100% convinced there is absolutely no coincidences. There's a reason behind everything. And it definitely sounds like you were getting some help for sure.
yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
there was not, the collie did not do that.
Right.
I mean, it was just too weird.
Right. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, so does everybody have their check marks for the things we're checking?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to move down to this list. And then what we're going to do is ask, is the current block in column A? See what you get. You're going to go all the way. Is it in column B? Is it in column C? Is it column D? Is it in column E? You might want to word it like, is the current mindset block in column A? Like, just let's get as specific as possible. Once you find your column, you're going to say, is my current mindset block in an odd number row? So if, let's say I got column A and I got an even number row. So then I'm going to go, is the current block in row 2? And then what I do is I find my block here. You can see my mouse, right? Okay. And I just go one by one. Is defensiveness my current block? Is being disorganized my current block? So let's do that. Let's work out that, and then just let me know when you guys are finished working out what your blocks are. What you're going to do is find the block, and then you're going to write it on the current column up here. And just let me know when you have your blocks worked out, and we'll move to the next step together.
I believe I'm going to go through this later to pinpoint exactly what they are. So I'm ready to go whenever everybody
Okay.
else.
So maybe what we can do is just go through the first one that you guys have checked off together, just so you guys can see how the process works. And
Great
then
idea.
we can kind of branch off and do it on our own. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. So does everyone have their block for their first, whatever your first one was? Does everyone have that block figured out? Worked out in the chart? Okay. All right. So let's just say, so I'll just give you what I got. So I went for the mindset block. Okay. So mine was actually came up as, actually, I'm going to do physical because that actually came out pretty funny. I had a physical block, And the physical block I had pointed to loneliness. Okay. So now I want to figure out what it needs to be changed to. So I'm going to go back to this same list and I'm going to say, I need to change the loneliness block to what? Is that in column A, column B, column C, column D? Is it an odd number row or an even number row? I'm going to find the block. So it said I need to change my loneliness to yoga, which is really funny because I was just talking about how I need to get out more and I want to go to a yoga class. So this is kind of how it will work. Now, sometimes, and I don't know if anybody was here last time that, you know, for example, last time I had a mindset block that came up as something positive. It came up as excitement and it had to be changed to a more passive energy. But if you see something positive come up for a block, then you really have to think about that, right? Like we can't connect from this place of like, oh my God, excitement, right? We have to learn how to quiet the body, the mind a little bit so that we can be more passive. So that makes sense, right? Okay, so then after we find our block and then what it needs to be changed to, we move over to the next block, which says clearing. Okay, so I'm going to ask for my physical block, do I need a clearing for my physical block? Do I need a clearing for my physical block? And that's a no for me. So I'm going to just circle no. Now, if that comes up, yes. What we do then, so has anybody ever heard of emotion code?
No.
No.
So emotion code is like an energy healing and it works by really our own energy. We have chakras in our hands that like put out energy. Okay. We have a main meridian line that goes through our whole body. It kind of goes all the way up and down. It's our main meridian line. So when we go like this and we swipe across our head, we are energetically cleansing that main meridian line. So let's say I get a one that says I need to clear it. Okay. Let's say fear. Last time I did this, one was called fear was a block. So it said I needed a clearing. So what I do is I close my eyes, I tune into my body, I think about that fear, like fear of being wrong, fear of being judged, whatever your fear is. And then you're going to swipe 10 times from right in between your eyebrows all the way to the back of your neck. And when you're done with that, you just get your pendulum again and you ask, did I clear the emotion of fear or whatever your emotion was? And it will say yes. Then we go over to aspects. So then you say, are there any aspects I need to know about clearing this block? I'm going to go back to my physical block. Are there any aspects I need to know about clearing my physical block? Okay, so that's coming out a no, but let's pretend it says yes. So it says yes.
Hilarious.
So let's say, all right. So aspects. So is there a health aspect? We're going to go through all the things the same way we did up at the top. Is there an aspect to my health that I need to be aware of? That's actually saying yes. So let's stay there. So I will say, does it have to do with reducing stress? Okay, so that's saying a yes. Does it have to do with changing my diet? That's a no. Does it have to do with trauma healing? That's a no. Does it have to do with add exercise? That's a yes. Do I have to remove a food or a substance? That's a no. Do I have to add a supplement? That's a no. Do I need to change my environment? And that's a no. So I might go to reduce stress and start to think of things I can do to reduce my stress. So this is where we're going to like really tap into like our critical thinking skills and our intuition. So I'm just going to think about my day. Like, what could I possibly do to reduce stress? Like in a realistic way. We can't stop working. We can't stop taking care of the kids. We can't, there's a lot of things we can't stop doing. What can we do? So to reduce stress, should I be meditating more? Right. That's a big yes. But let's say I said, should I eat more sweets to reduce my stress? Oh my God, that's yes. Terrible example. Let's pretend it said no. So then I'm going to keep going and asking all of these things to see if that's what I need to do to reduce my stress. And then I can just say, is there anything else I need to know about this? And it will say no. It will say no when you're done. Does anybody have any questions? Does that make sense? Is it super confusing? How are you guys feeling about this?
It makes sense. I just have to work through it.
Yeah, it's definitely a process. This is not something that can be done super quickly. And it really
Yeah.
is a good idea to do it on your own, because you can really kind of tap into yourself and your intuition and really, process this and embody it.
Thank you.
Of course, of course.
The emotion releasing thing has been really helpful for me since Danielle taught it to me. Like anytime I've been stressed out, and one of the things that she has really taught me a lot in our private sessions is emotion is okay, because that is not a message that the world gives us.
Yeah.
So learning how to, and she didn't mention this, but you can just do it 3 times if it's not a huge blockage. You don't have to do it 10 times each time, right, Danielle?
For this, I would probably say let's do it 10 times, because we're
Oh,
not
for this list.
For you and I, like when we're in a session, I can ask you and like tap into your energy and figure out if it needs to be done 10 times. But because this is not like a back and forth, it's better to be safe and just do it 10 times. Now, so what Hannah's talking about is if you're feeling an intense emotion and you're trying to help release that. This is definitely something that we can do on our own. So if I'm like stuck in overwhelm, let's say, I will bring up that overwhelm and like really let myself feel it. And then I'll swipe 3 times, and then I might use my pendulum and say, did I release that emotion? And sometimes it says no, because the emotion is connected to other things, or I picked it up from somebody else, or I need to know about this memory that's connected to it so that I can release it. So then sometimes when it says no, we have to determine what that thing is that we need to know, and then we'll swipe again 10 times. So to avoid the back and forth, and just to make it a little bit easier, I think it might be better just to go right in with the 10 times. But if you feel like it's not a big thing, you can absolutely try it. And then if you don't get that it was released, then you can go and do it 10 times. However feels right to you guys. Like, I don't like to have like these super set rules, because all of this stuff is just so intuitive, and it's going to be whatever works for you and whatever feels right for you.
And this is an instinct, because I was definitely doing that hand motion before I ever knew what I was doing.
That's so cool. The fact that you put that together.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is an instinct. This is something that we all do when we're upset. We'll put our hand right here and put our hand, especially if you have hair, which all of us that I can see do. But it's just something that we as females do. If you see a woman doing that, it might be a good time to be a supportive sister to her. Just saying.
That's a good point. I love that.
Not that guys might not do it too, but I'm just saying I've never really seen guys do it, but I've definitely seen women do it a lot when they're upset.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so going just back up to these change notes real quick. So once you get that chart filled out and you figure out what your block is, this is a good place to just write yourself some action steps. Like, what are you going to do to get to that goal? Like, I realized I have to, not just talk about going to a yoga studio, I have to actually go. So in my change notes, I might write, go do yoga 3 times a week or 2 times a week, or whatever it is, whatever I feel like will be best for me and achieving that goal. So any questions from anybody about any of this? And if you guys get stuck while you're kind of going through this list, just reach out to me. I have no problem helping you work through anything that comes up. If anything comes up that brings up, anything that happened in your past and you're struggling with that, definitely reach out to me. So what you'll start to notice maybe for some of these things, like especially for things in the relationship section, in the family section, you might start to get some things in here that like feel like maybe something that happened when you were a child, or something that happened, that any type of trauma, right? So it's really good if you notice that to write that down too, because then that is part of your block. So if I get really upset by, let's say, the martyr category with the family, And maybe that reminds me of my mom, and maybe our relationship sucks, and, you know, and it brings up all this. So now I know, especially because my emotion is starting, that is definitely something I need to look into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, quick question. I did mine and it came back with caring.
With what is it?
Caring?
I'm sorry, are you saying herring?
Caring, column A, row 3, caring.
Oh, caring. Okay, so caring is what you need to shift.
Yes.
Okay. And what did it say you have to shift it to?
That's I didn't get that far. I kind of lost you after that.
Okay. All right. So this is where it's funny, right? You might be somebody that cares too much for other people to the point where you're not putting yourself first. And we cannot do this work when we are empty, when we are energetically empty. So this might be something you need to shift where you're putting more focus on yourself.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay. So that's when you'll ask next. You'll be like, what do I need to shift, you know, this caring to? What is the new energy I need to work with here? And then you go do that same chart again.
Okay.
And if you need any help or anything, please just reach out to me.
Awesome.
Yes. All right. So are there any other questions? I want to let you guys do your thing here.
I had a question. So the current alignment goal,
Where are we
that's
at?
where we want to get to? Or
Current-
do we want to try
Sorry,
to
I'm
raise
looking. Where are you looking? Just so I can find it on.
the first page? Where it says current alignment goal?
Okay, so the current alignment goal, this is like what we are, we're seeing how much in alignment we are to our goal. So this is where we're going to ask our pendulum, you know, I always start at 50%. Am I more than 50% aligned physically with my goal?
Okay, and I did that and mine were like 75 or 70.
Okay.
So am I trying to raise this goal or like with with these exercises? Like,
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So what this is we're finding out, okay, you're 70% in alignment with your goal. So we need to, there's some work to be done, right? So we just uncovered what blocks are creating that 75%. So once you go through this and get your action steps and make those shifts or changes, depending on what comes up for you, then maybe in a couple weeks, you come back and you test your alignment again. Now, how much in alignment am I physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? You'll see these things go up, and it's really cool because let's see, last time I did this with a class, I got, for physically alignment, I got 80%. This time I got 98. You know, I got 90% last time. This time I got 100. So it makes you feel really good. And like, you're actually doing the work when you do this. So I would definitely recommend doing this, you know, every couple months, just even as a confidence booster, because in this type of work, it is like, it can be very discouraging. Like if we're not getting results really quickly. And for some of us, it makes us feel like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Like, maybe I should just walk away. Maybe I can't do this. But when you can see these like subtle shifts that maybe you're not consciously seeing, for me anyway, it gives me such a boost. And I feel like, you know what, I actually am growing.
well, I'm going to have to try it again by myself because I didn't have any blocks.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm just going to try it again and
Try it
see.
again, or try to get more specific on what your goal is. Like maybe going to like, you know, I want to be clairvoyant, or what was your goal again?
My goal is about mediumship. So connecting with spirit and improving my intuition.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I can have done it before. I just want to do it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe wording it like that, like maybe your intention could be, you know, more clear spirit communication, or more confidence in my spirit communication.
So if the intention isn't, maybe sometimes it just needs to be more specific in order to get.
Yeah.
When I first did the external, it said yes, but then when I went through the list, all of them were no's. So then I went back and said, well, do I have any external? And then it said no.
Okay.
So
So if you're getting funny answers too, you might need to drink some water. So sometimes when we're dehydrated, the energy is just not flowing as much. So if that happens, try drinking some water.
okay.
I did just want to say, I forgot to mention this. If your soul says no, they are not ready for, to go into your records or anybody else's, that's okay. We just leave it alone. Sometimes when we are healing or integrating something that we're trying to heal, like our soul just doesn't want us, messing with that energy while there's already so much going on. So we just respect that. And it's not a big deal. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is just me, and this is just me, no one else. But I find sometimes, like I can very much influence my pendulum. That's why, I was like, oh, we'll pick the sassier one.
Yeah.
So could this be done with a candle and a flame, and that response, asking a candle for a yes and a no, and maybe see where the answers come from that, if I'm feeling I'm influencing my pendulum.
1,000,000% yes.
Okay.
You can do the sway test, where you stand up. Does everybody know what the sway test is?
Mm-mm.
It's muscle testing, right? So you stand up. I was like, look, don't laugh at me. I put this little sweater on because I was going to go do yoga today and then I didn't. So I'm dressed for yoga with a sweater on. So this is what you're going to do.
Why would we laugh at you?
Because it doesn't match at all.
You're not in your panties, so that's at least a bonus to say.
At least you're dressed. Yeah, good point.
So-
Definitely, I've definitely done it with I've definitely came to class with just my upper half dressed multiple times.
Okay. So you're going to stand to your side. And you're going to look forward, but you're going to keep your eyes closed, because anything that we're looking at here could influence, just everything. So hands down by my side, my feet are hip width apart. And I'm just going to tune into my body, ground myself real quick. And I'm just going to say, my name is Danielle. My name is Danielle. My name is Danielle. And I feel a magnetic pull forward. Did you see me go forward?
Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Bob. My name is Bob. And I feel myself going backwards. So I'm not trying. It's just like a magnetic pull. So that is a great way to make yourself a pendulum and get answers directly from your body, from your soul, from your higher self. So if you're struggling with the pendulum, because Carrie's right, you can influence it. If everybody wants to try that, you can just look at your pendulum now and pretend it's going back and forth, and it'll start going back and forth. Pretend it's going side to side. It'll start going side to side. So this is why we really have to take ourselves out of it. But if you do struggle doing that, doing the sway test is another really great way to get answers.
Is it possible the pendulum could need to be cleansed as well?
I guess that is possible too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the question I had is not a long one, but is this like a type of a shadow work kind of ish? Or it's like a cousin to shadow work kind of?
Yeah, totally. This is very, very similar.
For your blocks.
Yeah, you could. So I'm just thinking the only thing that makes it different probably is not really getting into the memories and the emotions that are attached to some of these things. Cause some of them, mine was go do yoga, stop being lazy. You know what I mean? So if you do get really intense things coming up and you have to go back into these memories, 100%, it can turn into shadow work. Some of them will be kind of surface though.
You think that you got the message that you need to do more yoga because you didn't do yoga today? I'm just asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, probably because I'm feeling very guilty about it.
So to clean your pendulums, do you guys run yours under cold water?
There's a lot of
Put them in
different ways
salt?
to cleanse them. What was that one? Salt.
Or put them in salt?
Yeah, I mean,
Like overnight?
there's a lot of different ways to cleanse your pendulum. You could do the sun, the moon, salt water, cold water.
Mystic uses her singing bowl to sing to her pendulums and her crystals.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a
that's
great
cool.
way.
Smoke
She cannot
cleansing,
sing.
Yep.
So she-
selenite. You
Yeah.
really have to
Yeah,
be
you
careful
smoke
with
too.
water and salt because not all crystals can go in water or salt. So
Yeah.
just be really careful and like look that up so you don't like if you have a selenite pendulum, which then is self-cleaning, but like you don't want to run it under cold water or like you'll just kind of watch it melt away.
Yeah.
Selenite burns too. Have you guys ever seen selenite burn? I got a candle with like
No,
selenite.
but now I want to.
It was pretty
too.
crazy. It was pretty crazy. And then I got a sage bunch. I can't think of what it's called. And it had a piece of selenite attached to it. I was like trying to look for it, but I don't know where it went. I was like, am I supposed to burn this? I didn't, I couldn't, but I was like, I wonder if that's why it was on there.
Or maybe it was just for you to use, just to keep.
Probably. Yeah.
That's pretty
Like
nice.
all
That's a
wrapped
nice
up
gift.
to it.
Like a smudging bundle.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, bundle.
That's cool.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to leave you guys to get your stuff done. Is there any more questions though?
What are we doing next week?
Next week, let me look. Claire sentient.
Woohoo.
What is that, Danielle?
Clear feeling. So we're going to we're going to start getting into all the clairs now. Sentience is all about your feeling sense.
So like
And that's it.
when you get that feeling in your pit of your stomach that you're not supposed to do something, is that part of that?
That could definitely be part of that, for sure.
When you're supposed to go to yoga, but you don't.
Exactly. And then they put it right in my face in front of a class of people. Yes.
Do I read a list? Okay, and that's at 3:30, right? Next week?
I'm not sure what time zone you're in. It's 5:30 in my time zone, Eastern Standard Time, but it'll be the same time it was today.
Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
Tina just came in, but Tina, we're still in psychic class. We're about done.
Okay.
Cool.
All right,
I'm good.
guys. Well, I will see you guys next week. Please reach out if you have any questions or you get stuck on anything, and good luck. And I can't wait to hear how you guys make out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're so welcome.